Hello. Hey, Pictoplasma. Thanks for having us. We're Becky and Joe. We've prepared a powerful presentation for you. This is what we look like, according to Google.
This is what we actually look like. This is us on set of when we were filming Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, which is a short web series that we're currently making and have been making for about 5 years now.
Yeah, way too long. Embarrassingly too long. So we're going to talk a bit about some of our films. We're going to show some films. We're going to talk about technique and talk about how much time we've wasted, and we're going to talk about some of our, well, we're not really going to talk about our commercial work. We're mainly going to talk about why we ended up doing Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, which is, if you don't know, here's a little snippet.
Ta-da!
Good night. I feel like we should use more of the space because there's two of us.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah.
I'll stand in the middle.
You can go over there.
I can't see the slide, but... yeah. Questions?
Hello, Becky and Joe. I hope you don't mind if I ask you some questions about your fantastic work. First of all, how did you two meet each other?
Great question!
Yeah! How do we meet each other?
We met at university, Kingston University. Here we are, and this is us when we'd graduated and we were discussing our future.
So I studied animation and was mainly kind of making kind of graphic 2D stuff. Yeah, I think actually some of the films played here at Pictoplasma, so no big
Arrogant.
deal. Yeah, arrogant.
I did fine art at uni, and I did a lot of prop making, and I did a few sort of window displays, and yeah, I think me and Joe sort of started working together because we had different skills,
and we thought it'd be fun to sort of mix the two. We also we kind of met a bunch of like-minded guys at uni, and I think we got this space, and it was a sort of leap into doing more physical stuff in terms of physically building props and things like that. And we've been doing a lot of I've been doing a lot of computer animation, and Becky had been doing a lot of fine art, and then together we kind of collaborated in this big space. And I think the studio is kind of still key to what we do as a duo.
Yeah. I think we decided to sort of like, before we moved anything into the studio, make use of the space, and we made a short film called Bad Things That Could Happen.
Yeah, this was fun, yeah. This was like, we were trying to sort of experiment with the idea of, I guess, kind of costume, and again, it was like everyone had these sort of different skills. We had a lot of illustrators, a lot of animators, and it was about trying to take those skills and trying to make a film that felt like it had kind of one unique voice to it. And so we took these little scenes and tried to make a little short. We're going to play a little bit of the film because it's quite long and we don't have time. Check it out, it's online. So we still have this space today, except for it's just full of stuff.
It's still the same group of people as well. There's only rows there, but there's about 10 of us in this space.
Yeah, this is the wrong picture to indicate that there's actually a lot more artists there. It's not just rows. So...
Wow, that's very interesting. I never knew that you're both trained dentists. But tell me, how did you end up working together in animation?
Good question. So we started doing these kind of smaller projects together, these little bits. I mean, I was at the time I was working as a 2D director, but I'd been given a little bit of money to make a Christmas card for a company called Sherbet, and I think this was another little project we started working together on, and it was like, I guess, taking the 2D graphic stuff we'd been working on and manifesting it in the sort of physical world. So most of the images were just printed straight onto paper and then put onto wood and cut out using a scroll saw and then painted. So this was a kind of real good project for us in terms of like figuring out that we could actually do sort of some quite interesting stuff just alone in our studio. Yeah, so they let us make the music for it as well, which was interesting. Yeah, again, just in our studio.
I guess, next we did a music video for a band called Tame Impala, which was using a similar technique where we sort of started off in the computer and then printing out all the animation frames and remaking them as plasticine collages. We were given quite a lot of creative freedom for this, so it was like a really fun project.
Yeah, I mean, we had a kind of weird kind of ethos to what we were doing in terms of the fact that we were trying to sort of find a sweet spot between a sort of controlled 2D slick, or at least very smooth, like animation approach, and then also being able to mess with it, enough in the physical world that it would find a kind of nice contrast between being something kind of like painting, to slightly expressive, but also have a kind of smooth movement. This is some of the frames we made. Becky talking in the background. So we'll just play this video quickly. That's a quick explanation of how it was made, but maybe the video will be. Thanks. So yeah, this is another music video we did for Unknown Mortal Orchestra, and again, it was like kind of. Sort of like a mixture between theatre and illustration and just sort of idiotic...
Puppets.
Yeah, puppets, yeah. So we kind of... I mean, it was just fun working with the band because they let us do what we wanted. I think we just wrote a paragraph of what we wanted the story to be, and they were quite happy for us to sort of make a weird film. And then...
This was for another band, Delicate Steve. This was using the drawn-on film technique. So I think we were just sort of, at the time, experimenting a lot and trying to do, sort of push different processes and do something different. But again, using the same sort of, starting off digital and then taking it into another form.
Yeah, I think for us it's always very exciting to try new things. At this stage, we were kind of more focused on technique. But we decided that would be a kind of interesting idea to sort of utilize some of these ideas that we'd learned on these kind of experimental projects in more of the narrative stuff we did a bit later on.
Well, this is all very fascinating. I must say, I think you're both brilliant. Especially you. Now, tell me, why did you bother to make the short film, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?
Yeah. So, this is a question we still ask ourselves. I mean, not what's your favourite idea, but why we bothered to make Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I think it's a kind of strange little film that we made about 5 years ago, and now it's sort of taken over most of what we do. But it was essentially like, at first, it was like the idea of reducing a kind of complex subject down to something quite simplistic, and that sort of amused us, just trying to see if you could teach something like creativity or time in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Which kind of can't be done. So to try and do it is in itself quite funny, I think.
This is the beginning stages of the first episode. I think, again, we were doing it in our spare time. It was like very much for sort of self-enjoyment, I think. It was like a self-funded project that we just put all of our did in our spare time.
Yeah, so we had this sort of weird set growing in the back of our studio over a period of like sort of 5 months or something like that, and it was just gradually being added to, and we didn't really know exactly what we were doing with it, but we knew we wanted to make something with puppets. I think these are the only designs we did for the puppets.
I don't know who that guy is on the left, but
yeah, don't know. So
there they are.
Someone showed me this the other day, and I was like, oh, we did draw them out in the first place, and then they kind of gradually came together.
Yeah, this is the first puppet I ever made, so I think we both wanted to do something with puppets, and I'd never made one before, so this is why the first version of Yellow Guy looks so insane. There he is with Joe.
I'm wearing the appropriate outfit here. So This is the shoot. This is some stills from the shoot. Again, this is just something we made like in our studio with no real budget, and just to sort of, I guess it was something we wanted to make, but we don't often question why we did it. It was kind of chaos, I suppose. Like when we were actually shooting, we didn't really know what we were doing. We'd hired some lights and things like that, and a camera, and even people involved, I think, were a bit like, why are we making this thing? But we put on a little show,
A little party.
a little party for the film after we've made it, and we're going to play the film now, the first film, just in case no one knows what we're actually talking about.
What's your favourite idea? Mine is being creative.
How do you get that idea?
I just tried to think creatively. Now when you look at this orange, tell me please, what do you see?
It's just a boring old orange.
Maybe to you, but not to me. I see a silly face, walking along and smiling at me.
I don't see what you mean.
'Cause you're not thinking creatively. So take a look at my hair.
Cool.
I use my hair to express myself.
That sounds really boring.
I use my hair to express myself. Now, when you stare at the clouds in the sky, don't you find it exciting?
No.
Come on, take another look.
Oh wait, I can see a hat. I can see a cat. I can see a man with a baseball bat. I can see a dog. I can see a frog. I can see a ladder leaning on a log.
Think you're getting the hang of it now, using your minds to have a good time.
I might paint a picture of a clown.
Whoa there, friend, you might need to slow down. Here's another good tip.
Yeah?
of how to be a creative whiz kid. Go and collect some leaves and sticks and arrange them into your favourite colour.
Blue.
Green.
Green is not a creative colour. There's one more thing that you need to know before you let your creativity flow. Listen to your heart, listen to the rain, listen to the voices in your brain. Come on guys, let's get creative! Get creative! Now let's all agree to never be creative again.
This is a graph we made to indicate the success of that film. So after we released the film online, it did well in festivals and sort of played Sundance and a few other places, and it also somehow crept up online and became this kind of weird popular thing, which kind of meant we could get a bit of money to do more, which is something we'd always thought would be fun.
At this point we became represented by our production company Blink Inc. as well. And we went on to make episode 2 with a little bit more money. Still not a big budget, but...
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's worth saying that each one of these films is made with the kind of help and favours from a lot of amazing people. There's no real, no one's really getting paid, but there's a lot of love that goes into it. Yeah, so we started working with Blink, and then we were able to do it things slightly more professionally, I suppose. We were able to get like a proper studio and things like that. We also did a Kickstarter, and we did a sort of strange Kickstarter campaign. We kind of decided that if we were going to do a series, we didn't really want to do it any other way than just by ourselves, or we didn't really want to kind of compromise it, I suppose. We had a few people who offered us, gave us the opportunity to do it, but through other sort of platforms, and we'd have to change it a bit, so we thought Kickstarter would be a good opportunity to keep it odd. We released this kind of strange Kickstarter video. Just play a little snippet of this.
If you're watching this, then we need your help. We need money. If we don't raise enough, we'll be killed off, and you'll never see us again. How's that? Is that okay?
Yeah. But yeah, we
Worked a
basically decided to we were either going to kill off the puppets if no one wanted to see any more. We were going to burn them, but we didn't have to.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think maybe we should have done that.
We're still going.
There's something quite fun about destroying them, but annoyingly, people donated money, so we're still making the show.
That was really good. Well done. But how do you make each episode? What is the process?
Here are some of our key team members. Baker Terry, he writes with us, and he also does a lot of the voices of the characters. And Hugo Donkin and Ben Lowell, our producers, who probably hate us now because we make it quite difficult.
Yeah, they don't
and
like
everything's
it.
taken a long time. But yeah, we couldn't do it without our team.
So after I suppose normally we kind of get together and start throwing ideas around and recording music. And once we have a kind of loose script, it's kind of into the animatic stage. We'll go straight from making a bit of audio to just drawing up an animatic. And that will sort of be the kind of general guide for all the visuals of the show. Again, it's like a lot of the puppets, we want them to feel like 2D illustrations that have been sort of extruded into the physical world.
Yeah, I've sort of played around a bit of mechanisms and stuff like that. Like with the computer, it worked well because he's quite just his voice like being quite mechanical, like having we use like a litter picker for that. That worked well. But yeah, I think just keeping everything quite simple, sort of graphic shapes, like everything's made out of polystyrene spheres or like tubes for the arms and legs. It's keeping it very like graphic and simple.
And the characters kind of like, we don't name them, we just kind of, we hope that people recognize them from just their colors, I suppose. And I think because they're quite simple, it means that we can take them into sort of different styles and forms and different techniques, and you kind of can identify which one is which. So this is a little snippet, or a little still from a stop motion sequence we did in the episode about time. Again, we kind of think it's funny to like assign a technique to a specific theme within the episode in a kind of obvious way. It fits with the idea that the characters sort of have to see the world in a specific way. So, and again, we kind of use some of the techniques we used in some of the shorter experimental things we've done earlier. So this is a similar technique to the Tame Impala music video. And then they go CG for the computer episode. And then here they just, I don't know what, they just go to something else. Yeah, there's some various other forms. But again, I think it's because the characters are simple in design that they work in lots of different medium.
Here's the steak guy. I think just showing the sort of process of like working out. I often just kind of mock up the puppets to begin with, and then they change throughout. Quite often, like less is more. Like I think adding hair and a moustache and stuff is maybe a bit too much.
Yeah, I think with puppetry, the appeal seems to be that they're so kind of clunky and rudimentary, and they're limited in a way that they aren't per se in animation. You know, like with animation you can, I guess, do anything, and with puppetry you're limited. This puppet is an example, I would say, of one where we kind of made him too accessible. I mean, not accessible, sorry, too advanced and too, basically too good as a puppet. I think by the end we shot him on pink screen, which meant he could fly around, and it kind of loses some of the lo-fi appeal. So the wings here were done in CG. We also collaborate with other artists who kind of fit the show's kind of weirdness, I guess. This is Jack Sachs, who's a CG illustrator and animator, and he worked with Theo Nunn to create this weird sort of digital version of the show. Again, set design is something that we've kind of gradually built up throughout the show, I guess.
Yeah. I think
they've kind of become more complex, like, and also we've got like more props just lying around now, so we can kind of fill the set. But I think part of the way we work is that we try to have an element, maybe about 30%, that is just unknown until right up till the shoot, so it stays fun, I guess. We don't want to plan it too much. Yeah. So now we've got lots of stuff. We can just sort of fill a set quite quickly. And again, it's just trying to keep a kind of graphic, stylized approach to the build. Like, they're basically illustrations that have just been sort of pushed into a physical space.
Great, thanks for clearing that up. Now, I wonder, would you talk a bit about what inspires you? What other artists have influenced you? I love you.
I think, David Lynch is a big influence, and Stanley Kubrick. I think we always just like to create that kind of uncomfortable sort of atmosphere.
Yeah, something that's uncomfortable, but that you can't quite put your finger on why. And also work that sort of sits between entertainment and basically a form of insanity, I think. Like, some of the outsider art stuff is a big influence on us. This is Bruce Bickford and Prip Hahn and Henry Darger. But yeah, this is a big influence.
This is like a weird book that we found, Candy and Andy, which is a kind of a pilot that got made by Jerry Anderson that never really took off after Thunderbirds. But it's just really bizarre. It's these two mannequin dolls that are raised by these pandas, and there's also some real children in there. So it's just really, really odd, but kind of like it in a weird way.
They're really demon children, aren't they? Again, this is another thing that's really... It's quite hard to find out who actually made this, but it was a strange... I think it's like almost a feature film inspired by some toys, and it's just one of those things that you can find on YouTube, and it's something that I think is a good example of the kind of approach that we were taking when we were making Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, or when we make Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. We're kind of trying to create a show that feels like it's kind of lost in time. You don't really know who's made it. You don't really understand why they've made it. And I think this is a good example. I wish we could just watch this film now.
Yeah.
I guess attention to detail in the show is important in kind of giving off that feeling like it might have been made by someone who's a bit insane, yeah. So having lots of little things in the background that sort of tie all the story together is important to us, I think. These big weird digital head characters only really appear
for a second.
Yeah, I think they're on for like 2 frames, but we still thought it'd be quite fun to put them in. This is reality. We'll play this. Actually, maybe we don't have time to play this film right now.
We can play this one, I think.
Okay, we'll play this.
Yeah.
This is probably our favourite episode, so we're going to play this. I think it's our favourite because it just mixes lots of different styles, and also we quite like the song.
Did you miss me? I missed you. Now, your silly puppet films are very popular online, with over 200 views. What is the secret to your success?
Well,
we have the formula. Da-da!
So apparently we're really popular on YouTube now, so yeah. Also, this video, How to Catch a Clam, is popular on YouTube. But we're just going to quickly go through some of the great stuff online. I think now that the show seems to have become its own thing and is kind of slightly separate from us in a way online. And we love that. It seems to have inspired
There's a lot of like
people.
amazing fan art going on. There's like people have even got tattoos. I think there's a picture. These guys are amazing. whoever they are.
This guy didn't make an effort, really.
The one on the right didn't make much effort.
She could have shaved his beard off, I think. Tattoos, and also all manner of responses to the film, and some strange kind of theories. We're not really going to touch on the theories and stuff like that, but it's just cool because it allows us to have a kind of, I mean, not dissimilar to what Julian was saying. It allows us to have a sort of exchange with the kind of way that the show is interpreted online, the internet. There's a kind of, we can react to the way that they react to an extent. This is a weird example where we kind of hid phone numbers in episode 5. And we'd answer them in character when people would call.
Hello? Can I ask a question?
You got to be helping!
Are you hungry?
You got to be helping!
Are you hungry?
No, you're helping!
Why aren't you hungry? Are your teeth grey? I did it! Yes, I got through!
Yeah, that was Liam.
Yeah, Liam. So we kind of this weird, like, cyclical feedback loop of nonsense going on. Also, we referenced aspic, which is a kind of weird food, in episode 5, and then we were sent an image from Google that told us that we had caused a spike in the Google search for aspic, which is great, because that was our plan, was to raise awareness for aspic. So now we're working on episode 6, and hopefully that will be out soon. We just released a clothing range, and we kind of try and do everything in the spirit of the show. So yeah, we're going to finish with a final quote, which is from, this is my mum. So thanks for having us, and thanks to everyone at Pictoplasma, Peter and Lars, for letting us come and ramble on about stuff.